Um, okay, well, let's get started and say hi. I'm Stephanie Schubert, as always, in Ames, Iowa. And I don't have a lot to say today it's not much changing with our town. Um, Working on the GRC, getting ready for that, so that's exciting. And that's about it. So I'll pass it over. For those who are new, we have 2-minute introductions for everybody, and then we'll get into the main topic with Otis. So I'll pass it over to David Clan if you want to say how you're doing today.
Thanks, Stephanie. This is my first time on the call, so I think I know a few of you, but I'm David Klon.
Nice to meet you. Welcome.
Thank you. Yeah, that's all. Unless people
Okay, well, that was easy.
Want to say something about what you do?
Sure.
Like, you know.
Okay, brief background. Let's see. I built WDRT in Viroqua, Wisconsin 10 years ago. And more recently, I built WNUC in Detroit, Michigan. And I've taken what I learned from building those stations on the road. And so now I help other stations, mostly with Rivendell automation, but I do other stuff, audio chain related, and yeah, mostly technical stuff.
Very good. Thank you.
Thank you.
And let's go next to Elliot. How are you doing?
Hi, I'm Elliot from KUCR from University of California, Riverside, California. I'm doing well. I don't have too many updates, but you know, the fire is still going on, and trying to be positive.
Right on. Thank you. And then let's see. Let's go over to. Oh, yeah. Debbie, you look new to me. Hi, Debbie. How are you?
I am good. I've not done a Zoom meeting before, if you can believe that. I'm from WGOT in Gainesville, Florida. I do financial director. I help run the station. There's like 3 of us volunteers. So I'm here to hear about. I've been wanting to join on Thursdays and I haven't been able to, so here I am.
Hey, cool. Good to have you. And from Debbie, let's go to Ursula, who is my boss with Pacifica. She's at the station today and I'm at home, so she can give us an update on how KHOI is doing.
Nothing special to report, just the stresses and strains of trying to make this all work. And it's nice to see all of you today. And look forward to seeing what happens today and to get to the presentation. So I'll hand it over to Joseph McGuire.
Hi, I'm from KSVR in Mount Vernon, Washington, and I'm operations manager and producer of Skagit Talks and Radio Theater Project. And it's been March since I've actually been into a studio, but I'm still here at home studio. And that's pretty much it. It's chugging along nicely.
Fantastic. And Kevin's here today. Hi, Kevin. How are you?
I'm doing well. Hello, everyone. I'm Kevin Patusek. I'm with WTSR in Trenton, New Jersey at the College of New Jersey. I'm actually right now in our TV studio, which is my other responsibility. Things are status quo around here.
All right. Is that good?
Yeah, that's good.
Okay. We have the vertical listening in. He usually connects by phone. And sometimes he can't really always connect to speak, but he can always hear us. So he says hi through the chat. And I also see, oh wait, Davine's here. That's right. Davine, how are you?
Good. Now I'm in Asheville, North Carolina. Things are going well here. We did our first virtual city council candidate forum on Tuesday night, and I've put a link to that YouTube video of it in the chat. And we did it on a different platform than Zoom. We did it on StreamYard. And I like StreamYard because you can gussy up the background and have a ticker going along, and have, you know, it just looks different. So it went very well for our first one. And so that's our for the week. We do have a very important district election this time around. It's if it wins, it flips this area of North Carolina from ultra conservative to medium moderate, and we have a interview scheduled with that particular coming up in a couple weeks. So we're hot in political season over here in North Carolina. So
Yeah, you guys got a lot going on.
Or today.
You guys are a swing state too, aren't you?
Pardon?
You guys are a swing state too, aren't you?
What?
North.
We're a swing state.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're a swing state.
Yeah, you got a lot going on. Thanks, Davine. Let's see. How about Heather Gray? How are you?
Yes, I'm good. Can you hear me okay?
Sure can.
All right, yeah. I'm good, thanks. Also recovering from the debates.
Yes.
I do want to mention that I'm with WRFG Radio Free Georgia in Atlanta, and I am also one of the affiliate representatives on the board of directors, Pacifica board. But I want to mention that we at WRFG are looking for a new station manager. So I'd like to send notices out to everyone about that as well. So just want you to know.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Thank you.
Have we, I could post that on the Pacifica Network webpage too, if you want.
That would be absolutely wonderful.
You could send me an email and I could put it up there.
Great, thanks.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I see a couple phone numbers. Which one was your phone number, Heather? Who's
404-234-4630.
404. Okay, we
But
have,
she shows up as Heather Gray.
It comes up as Heather Gray, yeah.
it does. Oh, okay. I see a, oh, you're right. 16147872888. Do you have capability to say hi?
Yes. Hey, this is Abhi.
Oh, it's Abhi.
Joining in from Houston. Hey.
All right. Abhi's one of our tech gurus. Okay, well, that was simple. And also 195-131-87-410.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, it's Louis Vandenberg with KUCR, University of California, Riverside. And I'm going to be getting off of this line and trying to get back on via the net in about 5 minutes. But I'm just interested in the program today.
Okay, fantastic. Good to have you. Did we get everybody? Looks like.
Oh, sorry, Stephanie. This is Abhi again. I didn't realize that we were all kind of introducing ourselves.
Oh, okay.
I thought you were just making sure that the phone number was a real person. But yeah, I'm
go ahead,
Abhi.
say hi.
I'm in Houston. I volunteered with the Pacifica station that's down here before KPFT. And yeah, I've been working with Otis on some of the things that he's going to demo today, and a podcasting website most recently as well. So yeah, a little more friendly than just saying my name.
Well, that was a good segue. So then we'll just go to Otis, and he's going to talk to us today about the Internet Technology Package and then a new feature in AudioPort, which is albums.
Yeah, the albums. That was what started it.
Yeah.
I was going to do that. I mean, I guess everybody here uses AudioPort, right? Has anybody noticed that there's a new thing? Let me see. Am I here? Okay, hold on. Sharing the screen is always exciting in Zoom. Okay. I have to put the thing in the same place. And I'm just going to share this for a second. This one, I think that's what we're saying. So, are we seeing that?
Yes.
Yep.
Has anyone noticed this albums thing in the nav bar?
I noticed because you told me.
I noticed,
Oh,
Otis.
wait a minute. I don't want to be here. I don't want to be here. I want to be in the front. Like, yeah, like there. So you noticed, did it? But you're the only one? Nobody else saw it? Oh, wow. Okay, that's cool. So if you click on it, of course.
I did.
You did who? Is that Joseph?
Yes, I did.
What did you find?
Didn't look. I just noticed it.
Ah, okay. Ah, okay. So if you click on it and you're not logged in, it'll make you log in. Because it is just like everything else on AudioPort, you know, it's for stations and us pros. But what it's going to show is, and I just have one thing in there that I put in now, it's going to show a list of albums. And an album, all an album is just a way of collecting content. And it could be an album, or in this case, because this is the stuff that I had that I could put up, I put up some stuff that I did in the late 90s, which are some, this was a news satire that I did for my show when I was on the air at KPFT. So, you know, that's what somebody who might be interested in it would see, and you can listen to it. You can listen to it, and you can also download it. The other thing you can do is download the whole thing as a zip file. And there's really no restriction on what you put up as long as it's MP3s. There's no restriction in time, and there's nothing that says it has to be music. It allows for pictures, and so it's sort of cute. It was, you know, designed to be cute.
It is cute, Otis.
And the way you can use it, because everybody gets to use it, when you're in your workroom, if you look, you'll see this. Now, because I'm a super administrator, I have this one extra thing that says Album Global. But everybody else has albums. And what it will show you is all of your albums. Whatever you've put in, you can add a new album. That would be where you'd start. And when you add an album, you're going to get a way to put in information about it, a picture, whether or not it's public. If you want to do ISRC numbers, that stuff is all there. Descriptions, the label, all kinds of jazz. You could put in some or not a lot. One of the things you can do when you first do it, if you know how many tracks you have, you can put that number in and it'll generate those tracks. But once you've put in the album and updated it, it will come back here, and you have tracks, so that you can just click on that and start adding tracks. You can just add a track by clicking on Add Track. There it is. You put in the name of the track, and you choose a file for it, just the way you would choose a file for an upload. And, you know, you upload it. One of the cute things about this one is, and these are the developments that, you know, come up. This is one of the things that happens in this environment where we're always kind of adding new stuff that's cute. I say cute. Cute really means interesting or, you know, actually useful. Let me see here, just so you can see this. Well, no, there's some of these are huge files. I don't want to put them up. I could put, no, that's a wave. Yeah, I could put up Satan's interview. So now I've chosen my file. I can put in what it is. And then just hit update. And here's a cute little upload meter. And bam.
Hey, Otis.
It's there. It's done. And now that is in the album. If I go, I can play it. Yes, I'm going to get to you in just a second.
Yeah, no worry.
And, you know, it's there. Back to the album list. If I go back to the workroom and go look at albums, I'll see it and it'll be part of this. It's going to take a second. The first time this opens is going to generate the waveform, but then it saves the waveform and it's, I can tell you, gigantic. Anyway, okay, who's that? Joseph?
David.
David. Oh, I'm sorry. Yes,
That's
Mr.
okay.
Klon.
Thank you. I noticed you typed in the title. Do you go to any effort to try to extract metadata from the MP3 files?
I have not done that. It would be, there's a question. One of the things, these are one of the issues that have to do with how we operate or how I operate at Pacifica. If people are saying, hey, that would be really useful because I've got, you know, I've got the metadata in my MP3 files, could we, you know, expose that and have that fill in the information, then it might be worth writing it. But to write it just to say it's a feature, because I wouldn't have it in there. I don't know how many people actually put, does everybody know what we're talking about? Okay, yeah, Joseph, you know, and just quickly, you can embed information in an MP3 file. In fact, there's a huge list of things you can put in it. You know, title, copyright stuff, all that can be embedded in it. And yes, the answer is there's no reason that in uploading that I couldn't extract it from there if it was in there. And, you know, you could order that. You say, hey, that would be like a really cool thing. Could we do that? And then I would have to spend some time doing it. You know, the libraries are there and all the stuff is there to do it. I just haven't done it. I actually thought about it. I mean, there is no reason right now it's set up so that you're doing them individually. Well, you could put them in a directory and you could just have it pick it all up and do it that way. Does that answer your question?
That answers my question. Thank you very much.
Otis,
Do you think it would be, I'm sorry, do you think it would be useful, David?
I don't know. My follow-up question is, what do you see as the use case for this, other than uploading albums?
It came about somebody wanted to be able to do it, and then they haven't because they're so busy doing other stuff.
Sure. Yeah.
well, I asked Otis to do it because right now the way people, we do have various musicians. Like the person who asked for it was David Rovix.
Oh, right.
Musicians who want.
He's very busy in Portland right now.
So, we do have musicians who want to contribute music, but right now for them to contribute it in the format that is AudioPort is very, very wonky. You know, they have to upload each song in their album as an individual series, and it just is counterintuitive to how people want to distribute music and how people want to find music. And I also felt that in this case, an image would be good because it kind of goes with the idea of an album, that there's something. So it was just, AudioPort was built in 2003, and it doesn't really take into account a lot of how people want to do things today.
Sure.
And the musicians, it was especially wonky,
Well,
they wanted to feature themselves, not to divide themselves up into a million little, things.
I would think then if I were David Rovix and I had MP3 files with my stuff already collected, I bet I already have metadata in it, and that would be a nice feature.
Well, it becomes a question of it just
Can I
becomes
say
a question
something?
of how I organize my time. Sure.
Can I say something?
Who said wanted to say something? Yeah, who is that? I didn't see it.
It's me.
Oh, let me unshare.
Just
Let me
saying.
unshare because then I can see better.
So metadata, if they're loading music albums up, that metadata, I would won't unless it's got metadata, because whenever anything that's going out on the internet, I can play our station on my smart TV, and I want to have the metadata there that shows the album title of the song and the artist, because that helps the musician get the word out about their story. And so to me, metadata is vitally, very, very important.
Well, one of the things, okay, we raise a number of issues. When you put something up to AudioPort, do you have metadata in it, or do you not? AudioPort could actually put metadata in it. Do you want the metadata in it? Does everybody agree that they want metadata? I mean, it's actually kind of a big deal because it sort of, identifies it in a way that not everybody may want it identified. I don't know enough about it. What I can say is that, as with almost all of the technical stuff we do, you could do it. You could do it. We could set up AudioPort so that when you upload it, it'll put metadata in, based on the information that you put into the, into that form. But that's a big question. Joseph says something. You're muted. I'm sorry, Joseph.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, I was just say, if this is for songs, then I absolutely know all musicians want metadata in their songs, and that's because that's how they live and die, by song plays and how people see them and hear them, in the sense of passing it along. I think metadata is very important for that.
Understand this. This is for radio stations to download. This is not for public access. So
Okay,
what's going to happen to whatever they give us, that's going to end up getting played over the air, and it may or may not include the metadata.
If it's a song and it's played on the air, then the metadata goes into all sorts of places like Spinitron, Copyright Confessor. Thank you.
Well, it's not. Well, Copyright Confessor's not picking up metadata.
Okay.
Well, but it picks it up off the stream, doesn't it? Does it not pick it up off the stream?
No, it's no. What it's doing, it's not metadata. It's doing recognition.
Well, there's
so it's recognizing it and giving you the information from the database.
Okay.
If it's
where it's identified. I'm sorry.
If some people are playing the song and they use the metadata to put the song on their internet stream, I mean, there's songs need metadata. I just believe that from knowing musicians. I'm done now.
Yep, I concur.
Well, at the same time, if if that's the case, my guess is that they would have metadata in their MP3 that they're uploading. Is that not?
I would bet
Okay.
that they do. Yeah.
Because that's not going to change. It'll be there.
Sure,
I mean,
sure.
the upload is it's not doing anything to the music. And my question about putting in the metadata is, well, I mean, now we start getting into deep stuff because you got so many people doing things different ways. So, well, if we're going to add the metadata, are we going to use the metadata? Are we going to, we got to identify that it's there? Then we have to know that they want it if it's not there. I mean, there's more to it than just doing it. And I'm not opposed to doing it. And, you know, this may be one of the things that would be really, really useful to do. How does Spinitron pick up metadata? They're doing recognition just like the Confessor is.
Yeah, yes, I think they are. I misspoke when I said
Me too.
Confessor. Yeah, sorry.
But the other thing is, metadata is something is a characteristic of MP3s. Not that many WAV files use metadata. I mean, they could, because if they're all, you know, it's a riff. But the metadata on the MP3 is kind of for end user stuff. When you play it on YouTube or something like that. The trouble is I don't know that much about it, so I can't really speak to it. But David has a burning share.
Yeah, I first of all, I want to say I don't want to monopolize this conversation on file metadata. So feel free to tell me to take it offline or whatever. But just this one more thought.
This is a good thing, and we should really discuss this. I mean,
yeah,
because it's obviously something that's significant. And this may not be the best place.
Yeah.
There's other stuff, you know.
Yeah, I want to make sure we get to the topic that people came to hear about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The one question I had for you, Otis, was does this have to only include music that is non-licensed? Is it license-free music or?
I think it's best if it could be licensed, but it should be held by whoever's uploading it. Like David owns his stuff, so he can upload it. I'm assuming that, and that's one of the things. One of the things that we say on AudioPort is you pretty much own this stuff. Although we're doing a lot of music shows.
Yeah, that's what I'm asking. Can you put up music that belongs to record companies, or is this only for music where where the artist can give permission because he owns the music?
I think I would prefer that we have the artist who puts it up owning it. I don't think we should be putting up other people's stuff in this form, because, you know, if you do it in a show, I suppose that there's some defense to that, since ultimately when somebody plays it on the air, it's going to get reported to Sound Exchange. Okay, I mean, we're in a funny place because we're also distributing it, but we're distributing it in a very limited way. That hasn't been resolved yet. I guess you could say that, but the trouble with the album is it's kind of saying, you know, here's a collection of stuff that
right. Well, okay.
do something with.
I don't want to get into it that deep.
I was thinking that we should put a splash screen on there saying, I own this.
Okay.
Essentially,
we'll talk about that later.
Yeah. Maybe with one of our many attorneys. This law is really in tremendous flux, because there have been so many changes. You know, we don't want you to play our MP3s on the stream, but now we're making money. So, you know, anyway, that's what else?
I was thinking, if you were able to use copyrighted music in albums, it probably would be good to have like 2 separate categories, so the people who make their own music, they don't get swallowed up by the tons and tons of copyrighted music.
Why would you?
I think there's a bigger legal issue here that I don't want to get into. I mean,
why would you? I just wonder, why would you upload an album that you don't, of stuff that's not yours?
the fact is that you can listen to it on the website, and I think that's a legal question. But I really want to move on because that's
Yeah.
not a lawyer.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, the assumption was this is yours and you're sharing it. Because, you know, that was the situation with Rovix, which is that was what originally started us writing it. And that's why we could play it. Anyway, what else? Any other questions just about this thing?
I see that Debbie just noted in the chat that she would want metadata for music, so she doesn't have to search the ISRC codes manually, which she does now. So whatever that's.
And why is she searching them? I'm just curious. I'm curious how people are using this because it does affect us, and I don't know the answers. Why would she be searching the ISRC codes? Is that for reporting? Kevin hasn't.
Are you there, Debbie?
Yeah, go ahead, Debbie.
Report.
Yes, I search them to report.
Well, there are a bunch of different ways to report. I mean, I'm going to talk about the confessor, which is essentially.
Which is why I'm here.
Well, it becomes totally automatic. I mean, it really ends up being completely automatic. I'm sorry?
Let's move on to the confessor. We all have limited time, so I don't want to run out of time for that.
Okay, Kevin, did you have a question?
Yeah, really quick. It wasn't a question, it was a statement. I use metadata for when I put the music into my automation system. I need the metadata there.
Does the metadata include the label? See, there is no space for the label in the metadata, and that's one of the 4 elements you have to report unless you have the ISRC.
Yeah, again, let's take this offline because actually there is space in the metadata for label.
Oh, is there for a
Yep.
label?
Yep.
Copyright holder.
Yep. And
which
publisher.
could be the label, yeah.
Yep.
All right. Yeah, let's talk about, let me just talk about the confessor. Are any of you, who's using it now? Anybody here? Yeah, we're using it at KHOI. Let me get out of this. Basically, what did I'm trying to think.
Never even heard of it.
What is the best way? Well, yeah, that's our very Pacifica approach. We keep everything a secret. We don't want anybody to, you know. Let me show you. I'm just going to show you something. This is the thing I was talking about. I think I have to, let me get rid of some stuff here. I have to share my screen to show you this. And I guess this could be considered a metadata thing, but it isn't. The confessor is a way of collecting the data. It's like Spinitron, of collecting the data of what you are playing, principally for copyright, but also for playlist. And playlist is extremely important to people who listen to music on the air. They want to know what you're playing. One of the things about automatic, you could collect it automatically, but it doesn't always match what you're playing. And that is because large record companies will take the same performance, the same recording, and put it on a bunch of different albums. They'll give it different artist names, different label names. So you never necessarily know exactly which one you're playing because the database just has the music. And there are a lot of people who want to put all the data in their show themselves. All of the names of the songs they're going to play, they do it in advance, you know, and then they want to put it on the air, you know, click it when it's played. But the cute thing, the output, and this is the new thing that, no, I want to share my desktop in this case. And that is the music show. If any of you have seen the archive, this is what the archive looks like. It has a list of all the stuff, and when you click play, it'll play it. One of the things I'm doing now is changing that because people want to share on Facebook, which is a difficult problem. So now, instead of just playing it right here on the line that you hit play, play it on a little screen. So now there's a screen playing it. Now, all of the music in this show and all the other shows at KPFT, can you hear me over the music? Let me see, let me turn it down. I can do this. Give me a second. Okay, now I'm turning it down. So theoretically, see what it's doing now, and this is the cool thing that we're starting. It is now, this is a recording of a show. This is the show that's played before. It shows up on the archive, and it's now going to start showing what it's actually playing at this moment. In fact, we are so illegal in the DMCA. If you scroll, if you scrub, it'll go to whatever it is. And that is because it's collected in the confessor or it's collected automatically. So now this will show up when somebody's playing it so that they're going to see it. And I think that is impressively cute. The other thing is, well, while you're playing it, of course, you could put it out over RDS. Anyway, and this window will change. If you play something else, it'll go to that. So the window's kind of alive. On a cell phone, I think I want to slide it over, and I'm working on that. So this is the new thing, the new cute thing, the latest stuff. Let me stop sharing it. Now, questions about the confessor. Somebody is saying, what you have seen now is an output of stuff that was captured by the confessor. When somebody is on the air, and I'm going to hope that. All right. The confessor holds your schedule. The confessor knows what is on the air. Let me share. Yeah, if somebody knows I'm doing something, I'm definitely going to call. I'm sorry, Fred, I can't talk.
Well, does everybody here understand an overview of what Otis is referring to when he's saying the confessor? Yeah, Otis, I think.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Right. So
yeah,
Otis,
that's normal with me, and that's the problem with being a programmer. The confessor holds your schedule. The confessor.
Otis, why don't you let somebody take a shot at just giving an overview, and then.
May I take a shot at it, please?
Please,
yeah.
Dave can do it.
Thank you. The copyright confessor is a way for radio stations to capture licensed material that you play and report it to performance rights organizations. In the case of streaming on the internet, you report to Sound Exchange, and for playing copyrighted material on the air, you report to BMI, ASCAP, CSAC, maybe a handful of others, hopefully not too many others. So the copyright confessor captures what you play and the time you play it, and it can also capture the other end of things. And correct me if I'm wrong on this part of it, but when you report to Sound Exchange, you have to report not only what you played and when, but you also have to report how many people were listening to that play. Right. So if you play a song by anybody, if you play a song, you have to tell Sound Exchange how many listeners were listening when you played it. So the copyright confessor helps you do all of that. It collects the data while you're playing it on the air or on your stream, and it helps you report that to the performance rights organizations. So in that way, it's like Spinitron. But I think it goes farther than Spinitron because of some of these things that Otis has mentioned as well in terms of, I mean, yes, Spinitron, you have to put in your schedule because it needs to know that, and you do that with the confessor. But then the confessor can also help you with archiving, which is a tie-in to another Pacifica tool called the Archiver. But they're very tightly integrated. So I think thumbnail sketch, that's a short summary of what the copyright confessor is.
Okay, I'd like to add a few things too. By the archive, what David is referring to is that the software takes what's on your air live and records it and makes an MP3 for the web that it then organizes in an archive that updates itself in real time on what looks like it's on your website. It's actually on the Pacifica server, but it appears to be part of your website. So your listeners can go to the archive section of your website and listen to programs that have been on the air. And the other feature that we found that is very useful. Hold on a second.
Yeah, I could say that the archive is pretty much the only one of its kind right now.
And the other
Been
nice
around for quite a while.
the other nice feature of it is that the software that does both of those things kind of simultaneously creates a program grid on your station, so that it as you update the confessor and the schedule in the confessor, you're updating your program grid on your website, which is really, really nice to keep your program grid updated. So those are two features that really, really make a difference on our website, is having the archive, the audio archive, where people can go back and play on demand, and also the program grid, which shows up.
It's the program grid.
Yeah.
Can I ask a question?
Say again?
Can I ask a question about the confessor?
Sure.
So this is Lewis at University of California, Riverside. Does the confessor work by sampling a bit of a waveform and then comparing it against the database the way, say, Shazam would work?
Yes.
Aha.
We contract there is an organization that does that, and Spinatron uses it, and we use it for the confessor. It's a great deal. They're headquartered in Beijing. All of their servers are on AWS, and they're incorporated in Delaware. A truly global organization. But yes, they have the music recognition stuff that they've built, and it's amazing how well it works, with the exception of what I said in the beginning. So we contract with them, and they provide that service.
Otis, could you go to khoifm.org and just so that people can get just like kind of a basic sense of how that plays out? Okay,
yeah, if you see.
So this is our homepage here at KHOI, and if you scroll down a little bit, Otis, you'll see there's this megaphone here.
Oh, wait a second, let me just do this. Yeah, okay.
Okay, if you scroll, okay, so then you click on the megaphone, and this takes us now to the archive. So this is an archive of the programs that have been on KHOI, and they are updating themselves in real time. When one program ends, it appears here on the archive. So people, now we don't allow people to download because of licensing issues, because people put music in their shows. So I know that you can download, but we essentially disable that. I don't know why this show has
local talk.
Hey, Russell.
Yeah. What?
Got a question for you.
Go ahead.
Question. What's the question?
Oh, no, I'm sorry. I was speaking to somebody in my house.
Well, so while she made,
Oh,
okay. So Otis,
okay.
Otis, can you go then back to our homepage?
Yeah, this would play it. I'm just saying, it'll play it. or it'll play it, you know, if you want to play something else. This is the schedule, and you can control what shows show up and stuff like that, whether they download or not, whether they're podcasts, all of that information you can do.
Right,
So
and also you'll see it also has a button that says play.
No, it's
It says,
sorry.
so you'll see there's also a button that says play on the air now, so that also allows you to play the
yeah,
station in real time. Now, if you
yeah,
scroll
and
up,
it's also collecting. It's also collecting a huge amount of data. When you click that key, it knows who you are and where you are, and, you know, goes into the database so that you can anyway,
track
go
that.
ahead.
Yeah. So scroll a little bit
Yeah.
up again. Okay, go to program schedule, KHOI schedule grid. So this is the grid that the confessor is creating for us. So when we go into the confessor and we update the schedule in the confessor, then it automatically shows up here on our website. So I just want people to see how that looks on a.
There are a number of ways to present this. You can also put it in an iframe. That's pretty typical. You know,
If you click on a show, do you go into their archive?
No, and that's something that I need to add. The history is the archive was written. We wrote the archive like 15 years ago. It's been around for a long time. The confessor showed up around 2006, and they were separate, and now they're being more and more integrated. And the answer to your question is, yeah, really shouldn't it? I could tell you that the confessor has a major API so that with WordPress or some other CMS, you can use the information in the archive and the confessor to generate your own page so that every programmer can have a page, but you don't have to build it separately. And, you know, you could go from the schedule to that. It's definitely implied. One of the advantages of doing this way with Pacifica is it's totally responsive to what people need. A lot of stuff that's in the confessor and the archive has come from the users. You know, hey, and that's a great idea. Seems pretty obvious, doesn't it, that you ought to be able to go to the web page for that show.
So now in terms of actual reporting, if I understand it correctly, the way it works is when you're in your to the sound exchange, the radio hosts input the information in the software that's provided by the confessor. And then when the period is over, Otis and his coworkers, they will then generate a report for you to give to the sound exchange.
Yeah, in fact, I'm in the middle of it.
Well, if I may, I came here for the archiver because of the end of Radio Free America. And
right.
Spinitron and Radio Rethink, I think is what it has been working on this. But if you guys already have this, then I don't see why we would need to go and pay extra money to Spinitron.
Well, part of my issue is we could talk about the archive and the confessor at some length because there are a number of different things that we've figured out that we know you have to do. It is not terribly simple. There are a lot of different options that different stations use. And the archive, because it exists over a period of time, has put a lot of that stuff in there, like should you allow a download? Should you allow it to, give you an RSS feed? How do you categorize the stuff? How do you present it? APIs for people who want to do stuff in their web pages. A lot of that's pretty sophisticated. And, people talk about developing it, but I could just say that over the period of time, it's going to be a lot of development because it's not that simple. And one of the major design characteristics of it is it works invisibly. Its job is to do this work without having to have anybody involved in it. All of this whole thing that we're seeing here is automatic. It happens all by itself.
The other thing that I think should be explained about it is that the actual archive and Confessor, they live in the Pacifica server. Pacifica has a server reserved for the affiliate network. And so what you're seeing there is coming from the Pacifica server, even though it's integrated into your website. We here at KHY use the Pacifica server for a stream. It's a great stream, it's very reliable, and it's pretty much limitless right now in terms of bandwidth. But you don't have to use the Pacifica stream to use the Confessor and the archive. You can, if you have another service that you're working with, you can do that. But using the Pacifica stream is another option that you can use in the course of using this.
But I will suggest one thing about using our stream. There's kind of a cool thing that goes along with it. Not everybody sees it. So now you have this. You can see what your listenership is, and part of that is because we can query our own IceCast servers and know who's there. The Confessor knows when there's a screen that you have on the air, particularly if somebody's, and normally you would have that in the control room, so you could see what's going on. It knows, it'll show you exactly how many people are listening at this moment when you start a song. There are things like that over the period of time, a lot of stuff has been integrated. Now you all are talking about MP3 IDs, which, that should be there too. Or RDS, that the Confessor should be feeding RDS. One of the things we've added, and this is because of Rivendell and working with David Klon about it, we can start tracking underwriting announcements and stuff like that. That stuff goes into the system so that you have a complete record of what you did based on, the schedule that you put in. Yeah, Joseph.
So I want to go back to the archive, because with the ending of Radio Free America, we don't have an archive, and this sounds like an interesting idea, but is it DMCA compliant? No scrubbing. Obviously, you can't download.
You could do that. You could do that if you want. You can
2
do
weeks
that
for music shows.
Well, yes. In other words, when you build a show, I guess I'm sharing. When you build a show, one of the characteristics of that show is all this information. And there's a number of different things. One of them is, can you download, can you podcast? How many days is it allowed to stay? But when you say DMCA compliant, it's almost impossible to be DMCA compliant. To be DMCA compliant, you can't have anything up there that's less than 3 hours long. And you could scrub or not. You could set it to scrub or not. In fact, and I have to kind of resurrect this, you can hide the file and have it served through a server so that it's not even accessible. We're not doing that for the most part because it hasn't been an issue, because they're more interested in getting the money from the play, because now we have to report that, than they are in preventing you from putting anything on a stream. Is that when the DMCA was written, it was written to prevent you from putting anything on a stream. That's the purpose of it. So if you look at all of the provisions in the DMCA, it's almost impossible to be compliant.
Well, I understand that, I think.
But this lets you pick and choose what you want to do. Yes, like the thing that I showed in the beginning, I don't think if you were going to show what song is played, I would probably be turning off the scrubbing for music, and that the archive has that capability.
Okay,
to
that's all I
not
was asking,
allow
just to see
scrubbing.
if you could do that.
Yeah.
All the minutia of the DMCA isn't. It's what people are doing, and they're putting it on for 2 weeks and taking it off.
Yeah, well,
And that's
that's
all I
normal.
ask.
When you the way the archive works, it basically distinguishes between a quote talk show and a music show. And a talk show will always default to 14 days.
Okay,
And it will
well, thank you.
default to no download and no podcast. And there's the private thing, so that you could actually put it in a directory that's above the doc root, so that it is absolutely inaccessible.
And this is part of the being a Pacifica member, right?
Well, I think we charge a little bit of extra for it because it.
Okay. Well, I understand. That's why I was asking. It's just
Oh
wanted to
yeah,
see.
but this is yes, this is part of being an affiliate.
Okay.
It's the affiliate server and it's the affiliate program that allows this. Yes, that is correct. And the other thing is, because we tend to be, I guess, a little less formal than some business relationships. Everybody has my number. They call me, and when you find somebody who's really looking at this stuff, very often they have really cool ideas. And so I could say the way it's written, it's pretty easy to put in interesting things that are, that may not be there now.
Oh, I thank you very much. I will contact Ursula or someone to find out an extra charge, but thank you very much.
Joseph, I can sort of give you the brief rundown on the costs on it. It's if you want to get all of what we've talked about today, the copyright confessor, streaming, and archiving, it's a $400 per year package. And then there's some a la carte that they'll break out. So, for example, just reporting for Sound Exchange is $100 per year, or streaming is whatever 40 times 12 per year, $40 a month for streaming. I don't have a number for just archiving, but
which is what we're interested in. We have everything else covered.
Yeah, we can get you that.
Excellent. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else? It's gotten very quiet.
I'll jump in just to clarify. The copyright confessor will create reporting for you, and it's also linked to the show calendar as well.
It is the show calendar. The archive gets its information. The schedule is held in the confessor. The archive uses that information to know what show it's recording. And then the archiver is recording online, and it's recording show by show. It's not just recording a time. So it's actually, go ahead.
And the archiver, is there a period of time that it archives it and then dumps, or does it?
That's up to you.
Okay.
Yeah, we say, I mean, the default, which is arbitrary, is 14 days for music shows. Okay, and that's pretty well, that we observe because of the DMCA. That is that's what they have said. So, okay, we'll observe that one. Talk shows generally are 60 days. There's some people who want to keep them longer. We can dicker about the use of the space, on the server. It's not intended to be a forever thing, but there's nothing to stop you from, keeping all of the stuff in another form. I mean, you can put it on DVDs, whatever. So one of the things that I say about it is, because of all of these different things that people want, over a period of time, all of that stuff has gone into the ability to control that has gone into the archive. So the archive has a lot of that stuff. And you look at it, you say, oh my God, look at all that. Well, basically you're doing it once, and it becomes relatively simple after a while. But it is responsive to whatever specifics you need.
One of the ways we end up using it as well is we repeat our morning show again in the evening. And so we record it in the studio, but once in a while we forget to record it or the flash drive fails. And then so the archive is kind of like a fallback. We found that we can go to the archive, download the recording from the archive, and we can use it on the air. It's not ideal. I think it's a 64-bit rate, but we found it actually sounds okay. So it's a nice plan. It's a nice safety net that we found we use.
But you could also record you can record a 192 or whatever of a show that you're planning on using for syndication or replaying. You can do that at the same time you're recording a 64 for public use.
Okay, I didn't know that.
That's I could tell you that it's pretty versatile. There's a lot of stuff you could do. And all of that's built into the system. There's a distinction. You can upload shows. KPFK in California, in Los Angeles, uploads a bunch of shows. Their most popular show is uploaded. So people upload it to the archive, and it just appears on the archive. So it's an online show. Effectively, it's a podcast.
It's your own SoundCloud.
Yeah. Yes. I mean, all of this stuff has come from requests from station or from needs. You can put pitches, you can put pitches on shows if you want. I don't think it's a good idea, but you could do it. You have that kind of control with the system.
I'll just confirm what David said earlier too. I see the streaming service is $40 a month. The copyright confessor is $100 per year. Sustainer is $30 per year. And then the full package is $400. Did you also say we have a price for the archive? Because I don't have that on our page.
Well, the archive and the confessor are the same thing, really. So
okay, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, you need the confessor for the archive. You don't have to use it, but it does hold a schedule and other information about the shows. I recommend using it because it's brilliantly written.
Chat if anyone wants to check it out.
Now these are affiliate prices. They're really calculated simply to try and give us the income for the support staff for the service. It's a higher price if you're not an affiliate, but for people in network, we really are trying to make this very much within range of what you could do.
Oh, it's very reasonable. I think it's great. Thank you.
It's outrageous, yeah. And that the goal with that money is to pay for the support staff to run the facility.
You were talking just briefly, and I might have misheard it, something about the thing I want besides this. The confessor sounds like what we're looking for is the podcasting, public podcasting. I know we can podcast within AudioPort, but the public podcasting, because right now we're on SoundCloud and I want to get out of that one.
Yeah, well, we've got Pacificaster. Ari or Otis, do you want to show it for a minute?
You could show that.
Please.
I was just going to say that any show, one of the options with the archive is, does it generate an RSS file? Which is going to have an RSS bug show. So effectively, you can make anything a podcast. You can then put that link in a number of different places. Obviously, put it at Apple or Spotify or whatever. But that exists. That's one of the features of the archive. Let me go. Let me just look.
It is a website for podcasting where we're not really promoting it or talking about it a lot because I'm tied up with the lawyer regarding contracts. That making a contract for this thing has turned out to be a little bit more complex than I originally understood. And so
Of course.
I don't want to start, bringing people to this until we're really prepared to act on it in an efficient manner.
No, thank you. I just was curious where it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, here. I mean, this is just basically what it is.
Yeah, this is the first version. Now Ari and Avi and Otis have come up with some just more beautiful versions of this, but this is like
You want to
start.
see it? You want to see it?
I'm scared to, but let's do it. Let's live dangerously. I don't gonna see.
Is it V4? Yeah, there it is. So we've just gone into a totally insane place.
It's cute.
Anyway, and this is because actually Avi is very familiar with podcasting. He knows a lot about podcasting and how people are using it. And this part of this comes out from that. And we just wanted to do something a little different. Anyway.
Yeah, and this is Abi. So I think, are you showing version 4 right now?
I did.
Otis?
I just did. I gave them a glimpse.
Okay. Yeah, that's just a draft. So this site is kind of modeled off of the Confessor and the archive. So as a podcast administrator, you'd see those screens would look very similar. And then having it be public facing, that's where that version 4 or version 2 website would come in. You'd be able to share that and have a full listing of, if you've got a station with, 15 or 20 other podcast shows, then each of those shows would get a page. So it turns into a very shareable and public-facing thing from the station's point of view, and then each of the hosts of the show, of whatever show or shows that they host, be able to share all that. And if you have any questions about that, I can definitely hop in on any email threads or anything.
Yeah, I can't remember the password. I had to change a bunch of passwords to get in, but it's very similar to what you would see. In other words, it's information about the podcast, pictures, things like that, all of that stuff that is, and the main thing about it is it controls access so that it distinguishes between a major administrator, a station administrator, or, somebody who's a producer of a podcast. It's actually fairly elegant. Let me unshare. I'm not sharing, okay. A lot of this is based on requests we get from affiliates and people who have ideas about things, because that's how it grows. And I think that's probably one of the major powers of all this.
We got another question from Debbie. She says she's at her office and she can't talk, so she says, would we be able to use Confessor if we use Airtime, the free version? I'm not the tech person for our station, so I'm clueless how things work, but I'm the one spending 40 to 60 hours per.
You mean Libra time?
What's that?
Libra time? Airtime.
Airtime.
Go ahead. Oh,
The simple answer is yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. and you know, we can connect it. We can connect it so information from David has written a thing, and we could do it. There's a station that's doing it so that promos and things like that that are or music that's coming from Rivendell goes into the Confessor, and then you have a, you know, really a complete record. And that was one of the things that got us to put into the Confessor the ability to show PSAs and promos. You almost end up in you could almost use it like a day book, that it'll show the schedule that you want.
Awesome, thank you. Does anyone else have any other questions?
Yeah, one of the things is the phone works really well. You can call David or you can call me, and you can get answers to questions. And we're pretty easy to reach. We don't have a front desk yet that will prevent you from ever talking to anybody who knows anything. We haven't achieved that at this point. We're working on it, though.
And if you want to watch Otis talk about this again, we'll be talking about it on Sunday at the GRC. So,
and I will be doing just as bad a job.
And we'll post this video up on the Pacifica Network website if you need to go back and reference anything. So
yeah, if you need evidence.
Yeah. I see David put his email on the chat there too.
Oh, okay, that's good. Yeah, and you can always reach me through David, you know, and I can just say that David does know a little bit about programming. He knows, you know, not nearly the vast quantity that I do, but he can speak more coherently.
Yeah,
see?
Yeah, sure.
I'm trying to think what else. That's it.
Okay. Well, thank you, Otis, and thank you, David.
I will tell you also the way we install it is you say, hey, let's do it. We just install it, you know. The workflow is once it's installed, you got to put the schedule in, and it will probably take a couple of hours. I have done a full schedule in less than that. There's information about the show and then where it goes.
That's actually one of the, that's worth repeating. This doesn't require any infrastructure on your part. It's all hosted at Pacifica's server. The integration with your website, your station's website, though, that can come as you have the ability to update your website, whether you're using WordPress or a custom website or whatever. But you can do that as it makes sense for you. The important thing is you can get up and running with this quite quickly.
Yeah, the only other thing is I need you to put in 2 DNSs. You need a DNS, which we generally do, confessor.your, you know, your station's URL, URI, and archive.your stations. That's generally how we do it. And then that's how we reach them.
Fantastic. Well, thank you everyone for joining us today. We appreciate having you and seeing some new faces. And maybe we'll see some of you at the GRC this weekend. And yeah, cool. I see some hands and stuff. All right, great. All right, and
if you're interested in the Confessor, just contact.
Yeah, we actually have some stuff we can send you. There are a couple things that we can send that are pretty much current, kind of current. There are things that have changed, but in general, they're pretty close. Because it is a work in progress, as is all software that's worth its weight.
And you glitched a little bit, Ursula. Did you say to contact you? if someone had a question.
Yeah, you can contact me or contact Stephanie
Yeah.
and tell us you'd like to hear more. And I think we could actually convince David to call you up and talk to you and, discuss a little bit more with you. And like Otis says, we have material we can send you that kind of FAQ. We have an FAQ sheet that answers a lot of questions like Macs, PCs, things like that.
Cool.
Shut up, Stephanie. Dismiss
What's
us.
it? Thank you
you.
for joining us. Have a wonderful Thursday. We'll see you next time.
See you next time.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.